Hi, I'm Rushi and today we're gonna check out the Marshall Origin 50 and the Coven modded Marshall Origin 50. The Marshall Origin 50 is a low budget take on the old school Plexi sound. But it's not. The preamp is completely different, it doesn't really do that Plexi thing that well. Some people like it as a pedal platform, but I think it's great to be modded. Today we've got a stock one and a modded one, and we'll see how they compare. So the stock Origin is basically a clean amp. It doesn't do crunch or anything in that setting. You can boost it. But it starts to get fuzzy really soon and it just doesn't sound great. When I found out there's a way to get a modded Origin, I found it on an US based message board and there was no way to get that guy to mod something for me in Germany. So I was looking for someone to mod it, and I went to Facebook and asked in some groups, and they told me just to put an overdrive in front of it and it would sound like that. So let's put an overdrive in front of it. Nope. Everything else I've tried to do to it didn't really help. There's a tilt EQ. It tilts the whole curve in between more bassy and more treble heavy. The presence knob is pretty aggressive, which is great for after the modding. But after all, the only kind of real distortion you can get is power amp distortion, and that just isn't what I'm after. So one thing I really liked about it is its ability to act as a pedal platform. I'm back to clean, and I'm using the Lichtlärm Ritual, which is basically a modded red. And you can also do single coil fuzz tones like this. But again, that's not what I was after, so let's look at the modded one. Alright, so as you can see, the tilt knob is no more, and there's another knob. I'll explain what they do, but first, let's listen to it with everything at noon. Yeah, that sounds better. That sounds more like it. So, let's look at what those new knobs do. The first one is a depth knob, which basically lets you dial in how much bass response there is in the power amp. And the other one, where the tilt knob used to be, is basically a tight knob, maybe. It cuts low end before the preamp distortion, so it gets way tighter and more modern. And also the gain, the gain. it does this now. And, well, you can add an overdrive to that. It's a bit different than the overdrive in front of the stock one, right? It still does single coil fast tones when you dial back the gain a bit. But they do sound different. Also, you wouldn't use it as a pedal platform, obviously, because, yeah, well, gain. If you put a red in front of it, oopsie. And yes, I know there might be a target audience for that sound, but that's just not me. Well, what I'm the actual target audience for is this. Also, the EQ does a lot now. If you dial in a lot of bass and take out a lot of bass, it basically balances out and you get a really tight but still fat distortion. And then there's that clipping switch where you can put in diode clipping. Due to it being way more compressed, you have to turn up the master volume quite a bit. It's just beautiful. And it's also pretty good for the doomy stuff. Back to Fuzzland. So, should you get an Origin 50? If you want to do metal, the only cause for you to get an Origin 50 should be to have it modded, because the stock one doesn't do it. But the modded one is just great. It's fun, it's heavy, it's tight, it's everything I would ever need in an amp. Minus a clean channel.